On Friday, December 1st, 1922, an exhibition entitled Decorated Pottery, Paintings, and Drawings, Recent Artworks by Henry Varnum Poor, opened at the Montrose Gallery. Located on the second floor of 550 Fifth Avenue in Midtown Manhattan, the art gallery was owned by Newman Emerson Montrose, a 72-year-old former paint merchant and latent champion of modern art. Montrose had, in the years following the 1913 Armory Show, staged the earliest sizable exhibitions of Matisse and Van Gogh in this country, exhibited some of the Dada artist work, and shown a group of decorative painting in his gallery. Still, the venerable dealer knew that foregrounding pottery, a lesser art, by a relatively unknown artist involved some risk. Wary of the potential for hostile public and critical response, Montrose staged something of a media blitz. According to Poor's would-be biographer Monroe Stearns, Montrose had enlisted the help of such progressive promoters as Walter Pack, Arthur B. Davies, Alfred Stieglitz, and Georgia O'Keeffe, and collected a number of discerning clients. These came in droves. At the opening, Stieglitz entertained them with his rhetorical judgments on the value of pottery. Every piece sold. Oh, to be a fly on the wall. A reviewer for the New York Times, dismissing the paintings altogether, printed most of the statement Poor had written to explain his new ceramic art. Distortions so disconcerting in an easel picture, Poor stated, have a sense of rightness when arrived at through the demands of proper space filling and decorative art. I believe that the natural development of modern art lies in a closer application of things, more related to everyday usage. The same Times reviewer professed the path of the modernist leads legitimately to the decorative art. Christian Science Monitor said, some of the designs might come as a startling surprise when the last leaf of lettuce has been lifted from the plate, but on the gallery wall there are a refreshing application of the ultra-modern idiom. And more definitively, American Art News printed, the most important work on view is decorated pottery, which includes plates, cups, pitchers, and panels of tile. By all accounts, the critics were won over by the campaign to link the modern with the decorative. Already in the week prior to the exhibition's opening, Joseph Breck, curator of decorative arts at the Metropolitan Museum, selected from the works to be put on view. The first of Poor's pottery to enter a museum collection, the two modest plates shown here give a glimpse of what the work that created the sensation looked like. Each bears a straightforward subject, flowers in a vase, a modern woman. Decontextualized snapshots of contemporary life, the strong outlines and bold palette typify Poor's subject matter and expressive style by late 1922. According to press accounts, there was also a tile plaque of Adam and Eve that was on view. Poor's treatment of the concave surfaces was in a manner Poor described as being the method of the old Persians, underglazed decoration on a white clay slip. Poor self-consciously mimicked tin-glazed delftware to express images that were in step with modernity. Montrose sensed that Poor's wares had tapped a nerve that translated into sales. The dealer put the artist on a retainer of $200 a month, not for the sake of supporting Poor's oil painting, which he continued to occasionally show, but to keep the gallery supplied with a steady stream of Poor's handsome, handmade painted pottery. For the next 10 years, pottery would be Poor's primary creative output and would constitute a continuous, ever-changing display in its own room at the Montrose Gallery, where curators, collectors, and other members of the cultural elite could admire and purchase them. I start by describing Poor's breakthrough exhibition at Montrose because it signifies several things. One, it shows a shift in Poor's consciousness. When the artist, craftsman, designer began to expand his self-definition beyond that of painter to include craftsman and potter. Secondly, and more germane to today's talk, it marks the acceptance of Poor's handmade and decorated pottery as fine art and modern art in particular. While other artists decorated pots, fewer made them and fewer still exhibited them within fine arts context. Placing his pottery in a leading Manhattan art gallery was a coup not just for Poor. In doing so, he set important precedents for studio potters and thus the post-war studio craft movement. The presentation of Poor's pottery as modern art, I contend, was central to this development. But what makes it modern? While modernism with a capital M suggests a new, rational style devoid of ornament and historical reference, Poor's pottery was decidedly decorative and inherently relied on age-old ceramic techniques, such as sgraffito, which would soon be part of his signature style. He continually mined the past for both visual and technical inspiration. Nonetheless, it was perceived as something fresh and modern, and Poor, I quote, one of the most daring radicals for extracting poetry from common clay. In this talk, I will examine the contradictory notion of modernism in Poor's pottery by explaining how Poor, one of America's first studio potters, came to make pottery in the 1920s, and exploring the development and reception of his ceramic work over the course of the next decade.